You know that feeling right when you sit down, before you even started the task, you're already exhausted. And it's like your brain is constantly resisting every sort of hard action that you need to take. And suddenly, scrolling on TikTok and Instagram seems so much easier, making coffee is more urgent, even cleaning your room feels so much more appealing than doing the task that you swore mattered the most to you. Now, I know at first glance, you're gonna think that you're just lazy. Why do you feel so resistant to doing hard things? But what if I told you that the reason why you are not disciplined as you'd like to be is because you're running on broken systems? Your goal right now may feel 10 times harder than it needs to be, but what if it doesn't have to be that way? What if by implementing the right systems, it can immediately flip the switch for you? Hi, my name is Jasmine, and on this channel, we talk all about becoming the woman of your dreams and building a life that you absolutely love. And in this video, I'm gonna be going through 10 rules that I follow that make accomplishing my goals 10 times easier and faster. All of these rules are a blend of psychology, energy management, as well as weekly planning, so that you'll start experiencing less resistance, less brain fog, and you'll be able to see your progress in no time. I've also included chapters for this video so you can skip around. You can also find the timestamps in the description below. And if you are somebody who's ready to do the real work, I'm not just talking about watching these videos, but actually transforming, I provide worksheets for every single one of my videos. In these worksheets, I provide in-depth journaling prompts as well as practical exercises so you can start removing those limiting beliefs and to write out an action plan so you can start living out as your highest self today. You can access these worksheets down in the description below. Now let's dive into the video. The very first rule is no phone and work for the first hour after waking up and the last hour before you go to sleep. A lot of people don't realize this, but how you spend the first hour of your day determines the trajectory and how the rest of your day is going to pan out. So when your first inputs of the day are checking your Slack messages, going through emails, or even scrolling on Instagram and TikTok, what you're doing is you are setting up your mind for failure. You are going to be setting a very shaky foundation for the day, and you'll end up becoming more sensitive to stress. And on the other hand, it works the same before you sleep. If you are constantly checking messages, Instagram, TikTok, you're not giving your brain the full rest cycle that it needs. And that's probably why you haven't been able to sleep well at night, and when you wake up, you feel groggy and tired. So how should you implement this in your life? Before you go to bed, I want you to charge your phone outside of your room. What this does is that if you don't see your phone, you're less likely to grab it. Out of sight, out of mind. And block off the first hour of your day and the last hour of your day doing grounding activities. This could be walking, journaling, meditating, praying, or even reviewing your goals. And even if you are pressed for time, just 20 minutes of doing a grounding practice can help you set a beautiful tone for the day, and it actually enhances your ability to do hard things. Remember, it is so important to start your day from the inside out. When you're able to control the first hour of your day and the last hour of your day, you're gonna feel more in control of your life rather than feeling like a victim to pressure. The second rule is to visualize your dream life for 10 minutes a day. Specifically, 5 minutes the moment you wake up and 5 minutes right before you sleep. Your subconscious mind is the most malleable during that time, so that means that you're able to communicate to your subconscious mind to see yourself as that type of person who has all of the goals, all of the dreams that you want. As you are visualizing your dream life, it's important to associate your emotions with that dream life. So is it more love that you want to feel? Is it belonging? Is it safety? Is it security? Just 10 minutes a day to visualize your dream life can get your subconscious mind on board with the dream life that you want. As you may know, your subconscious mind operates 90% of all of your behaviors and decisions. For example, if you want a healthy relationship, but your past has been filled with men who were horrible to you, who didn't care about you, who didn't value you, if you do not take control of your subconscious mind to communicate that you deserve more love, you deserve respect, then your subconscious mind is going to work against that conscious mind, that conscious desire. But as you visualize visualize and as you start experiencing more in the mind of what that healthy relationship looks like, what that healthy relationship feels like. And therefore, your subconscious mind will start seeking out more men, more relationships that align with that vision. The thing is, when you have a big goal or big manifestation, you have never experienced it in your life, and that's what you're trying to call in. So you may not necessarily have the idea, the strategy, and how you can bring it into your life. That's why when you're aligning your subconscious mind to make that reality possible in your mind, you start producing the right strategies, the right ideas to fulfill that goal. Not only that, but your visualization needs to be clear. Now, I'm going to walk you through these steps on how to do exactly that. I want you to take out a piece of paper and I want you to think about your dream reality. And I want you to reduce it to 3 goals that are important to you. With that piece of paper, I want you to write down your first goal at the top of the sheet. Draw out a line right in the middle, and on the left side, I want you to write out your clear intention. This is your opportunity to write down the specifics. What amount do you see in your bank account? What kind of house do you see yourself living in? How often are you going to go on vacation? Or what charities do you want to donate and contribute to, and what do you want to do with that money? And on the right side of the sheet, I want you to write out the elevated emotion. What is the emotion you're going to feel once you have experienced this goal? So on the same topic of wealth, are you going to feel free? Are you going to feel joyful? Are you going to feel grateful? Are you going to feel fulfilled? Now, this sheet is going to be your frame of reference around how you are going to visualize every single day. The thing is, consistency is so critical. You can't just visualize whenever you feel like it. You need to be incredibly disciplined in how often you create this dream reality within your subconscious mind. The third rule is 3x3 weekly planning. Every Sunday, I want you to write down 3 personal goals and 3 work goals. The personal priorities are your habits, relationships, experiences, self-care routines that are important to you. When it comes to your work goals, these are strategic priorities that move your dreams, career, and business forward. The reason why this matters is because a lot of people start their Mondays on default mode. They jump right into work and they always feel like they don't have enough time, but yet they always feel obligated to say yes to every single thing. But for someone with a long-term vision and are actively working towards their plan, you'll come to realize that there are certain actions that may not be entirely high impact in the kind of life you want to live in the long term. But when you are clear about your 3 personal and work goals, you will feel that you have a deeper strategy and you're more likely to say no to things that don't align with that timeline. And another thing to mention is that if you are an overachiever, you're probably going to want to list 10 things that you want to achieve by the end of this week. But as you know, the more goals that you write for yourself, the less likely you're going to be able to achieve them. So keep this as minimal as possible. If you can go less than 3, do less than 3. When you start being strict and disciplined around having a 3x3 scheduling plan, you will stop making excuses for things that are important to you. You will be more clear about your life vision, and you'll also be confident that the actions you're taking on a day-to-day basis is taking you closer to your goals. The 4th rule is to time block like the president. You have a budget for money, so why don't you have a budget for your time? And in fact, time is an even more limited resource than money. Every hour that you spend on something is either an investment to creating more in your life, either compounding your capacity, or it could be depleting your focus and energy entirely. And presidents do not commit to random tasks. When you treat your time like you're the president, your priorities start shifting and changing. You stop burning hours, you stop spending time on certain relationships, and instead, you focus on high-impact people and high-impact tasks that actually nurture the version of you that you want to become in the future. So how should you implement this? I want you to go through your calendar to review this one question. Does each block of time serve either career or dream aspirations? So this could be your zone of genius, strategic project, sales, or is this a contribution to renewal, which is rest, workout, stillness, or relationships, family, friends, and I want you to color code your schedule like so. Blue is career, business, work. Green is renewal. Yellow is relationships. The whole point of this rule is to not only use your time intentionally, but it's also about creating a life of abundance. Living a full, fulfilling, and satiating life is about balancing these three categories. The fifth rule is to write down your 3 daily to-dos. The thing with to-do lists is that the more that you write in your to-do list, the less likely you're going to be able to be productive and achieve everything on that list. Every morning, I want you to write down 3 tasks that you need to do on that day. One that moves you towards a future goal, one that prevents a fire in the present moment, and one that protects your personal energy. Make sure to write this list on a notebook or on a sticky note, just a place where you can look at it at all times. When you do this, you are going to more likely achieve and cross off all the goals that you've set for yourself, and it creates this sense of accomplishment. And that accomplishment carries over in the next day, and you're more likely to achieve those goals because you were motivated from the day before. And you're also going to feel like you're making the right moves towards your goals because you've spent your time on the right things. The 6th rule is to spend 10 minutes on resetting your desk. At the end of every day, I want you to set a timer for 10 minutes to reset your mind, to clean your workspace, and to prep for tomorrow. When your desk is cluttered, when you have a bunch of tabs open, you are going to feel very scattered. And if you were frustrated yesterday trying to solve a problem, when you don't clear your desk, when you don't set the tone for the next day, you actually carry forward that same frustration to the following day. So use just 10 minutes to really clean out your space, to make it tidy, to make it clean, so that when you come to your desk the next day, you're ready to tackle on new challenges. The 7th rule is to set an alarm for your bedtime. This one seems a little odd because aren't alarm clocks for when you wake up? Yes, they are, but they can also be used for your bedtime. If you want to wake up earlier, have a proper morning routine, and to be able to accomplish a few things that are important to you before the workday starts, you need to sleep earlier. Another thing is that if you work 9 to 5 and you have entrepreneurial dreams that you want to achieve, you tend to always feel really tired after 5 p.m. And when you're tired after work, you're not going to have the discipline, you're not going to have the energy to do hard things. So what you end up doing is you end up grabbing your phone and scrolling TikTok and Instagram, because a tired mind will always default back to ease. One of the greatest shifts that I've made is that I started waking up earlier so I can start working on the things that matter the most to me before the workday starts. Waking up early is the ultimate life hack, and these are the reasons why. Number 1, you are more likely to be creative in the morning. This gives you the opportunity to think of new ideas, new strategies, and new inspiration. Number 2, you are going to feel less resistance to doing hard things. The reason why is because in the morning, you are usually more clear and mentally focused. Number 3, you are going to be less distractive and more productive because no one's going to be answering your texts at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. There are no excuses to keep checking your phone because no one else is awake. So if you want to make your dreams happen, but you don't feel like you have enough time, this is your opportunity to carve out more time for yourself. The 8th rule is to review your wins, your bottlenecks, and your next goals. Having true accountability is being able to record what you've done and to be able to record your progress. This is about having the ability to course correct and have clarity on what you need to do in the future. But when you don't do these check-ins with yourself, your brain actually overestimates how much you've done that week. And not only that, your brain will actually come up with excuses around why you didn't take certain actions. But when you take time at the end of every week to review what you did, what you didn't do, what went well, what didn't go well, you take responsibility over your life. The true rhythm of growth goes like this: action, reflect, refine. When you don't implement this system, it can actually delay the amount of time it takes to get to that goal. So let me show you how to implement this. Every Sunday, I want you to set a recurring meeting for yourself, and usually this meeting will take between 30 to 60 minutes. And ask yourself the following questions. What worked well this week? Where did friction show up? What resistance or limiting beliefs did I struggle with? What 3 work and 3 life priorities matter the most the next week? Track every single reflection either in one singular notebook or in one Google Doc, and review your progress as time goes on. The 9th rule is to implement active recovery blocks. A lot of people underestimate the real power that recovery can do for you. When we feel especially tired, we either go into this binge watching Netflix routine, or we try to rejuvenate and revive ourselves by doing a really intensive workout. But there is a middle ground. When you truly rest, it enhances your neurological capabilities, your mental capabilities, and your physical capabilities. How you can implement this is that every day, I want you to schedule at least 30 minutes for some sort of gentle movement exercise. This could be a 30-minute walk, it could be yoga, it could be breath work, it could be just light stretching. Schedule one 30 block a day and treat it like a meeting. And the last rule is to create structured access windows for social media. Most people unconsciously pick up and check their phones about 140 to 170 times a day. And what you're doing here is you're constantly riding this wave of going through a peak and crash, and it makes you feel really tired and lonely and sad throughout the day. What this does is that it actually deeply impacts your dopamine, and dopamine drives your motivation. Short form content especially actually hijacks your ability to focus and also hijacks your motivation. And these platforms make it highly addictive, so you never leave the app. The more that you have an uncontrolled relationship with social media, the harder it is to stay disciplined on things that matter to you. Moderation is simply not possible, and you need to be a strict parent to yourself. And the result of all of this is you're gonna feel a lack of focus, you're gonna feel chronic fatigue, and also this burnt out motivation system that is actually required to build healthy relationships, required to have that amazing body physique that you've always wanted. It's required to build that amazing business. So let's talk about structured access windows. For a lot of us, quitting may not necessarily be realistic, because if we're entrepreneurs or if we're social media content creators, we need social media to make ends meet. So this rule is for anyone who wants to have a healthier relationship with social media and also be able to have high energy as well as being motivated to keep showing up every single day. You're only allowed to check your apps at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. You can use this opportunity to post, send out DMs, and even watch reels. But outside of these 3 time slots is a hard boundary. You are not allowed to access these apps unless it's through those 3 time slots that we talked about. Even urgent messages must wait. Why this works is because anticipation also increases your dopamine. And while waiting strengthens your dopamine, this actually supports you to do hard things. And we've reached the end of this video. I would love to know in the comments down below, what is one rule that has made your life 10 times easier? And if you are currently on the journey of becoming the woman of your dreams and building a life that you love, check out my channel, because I make a ton of content about motivation, self-worth, relationships, money, literally all things high value women energy. If you love this video, I highly recommend checking out my last video, how to reset your dopamine to trick your brain to do hard things. In that video, I've made an in-depth plan to get your dopamine back at your full capacity, so that you can start feeling motivated consistently and have the drive to achieve all of your goals. I love and appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in all the way to the end, and I hope to see you next week. Bye!